So, here we are once again. Haven't been back for a while. YouTube is a trip. We all know why. So, either way, it's just been some stuff going on. Decided to be a little bit heavy but light with it. And bring you some stuff from Twitter. Twitter is always very interesting, yet censored. So, you get some stuff, but a lot of it is invisible. So I was just checking out some things on Twitter. I found this to be very interesting because I've always wanted to move to New York. I visited New York and loved it. Excuse me. But shit is going down in New York and it's very hard to see. So let's look and see what's going on in New York.
People are fleeing New York, escape Manhattan. You're seeing it in real time all across the city. My name is Benny Johnson. This is Benny on the Block. I have been to New York dozens and dozens of times. Never in my life have I seen a city like this. Moving trucks everywhere. Everywhere you look. We're going to explore in this episode why are people fleeing New York City. Let's go. It's an honor to have John on our show. John, what is New York? What has happened to New York?
DeBlasio, one word. He's got to be the worst leader, economic leader, mayor this city has ever seen. Honestly, he's destroying the city. There's garbage everywhere. There's homeless on the street. Everybody's moving out of the city. It's really terrible what he's done to the city.
It all started with the tragic coronavirus. It stopped the state of New York cold. Why? Why was the coronavirus so bad here? What you had was a nursing home policy in the state of New York. Governor Cuomo putting the most vulnerable population at risk. BLM riots caused the leftist leaders of New York to capitulate and kneel instantly. What they did was defund their police department.
I want people to understand that we are committed to shifting resources to ensure that the focus is on our young people.
Today in New York, Mayor Bill DeBlasio announced a plan to defund the NYPD by shifting money in the city budget from policing to social services.
Not only that, but New York released dangerous prisoners from prison early because of the coronavirus. What has that led to? It led to more crime. It led to a lot more crime. 200% increase in shootings. 165% increase in murders, a 300% increase in burglaries and violent crimes. You're just getting started here. The police were defunded to the tune of $1 billion. Do you agree with that?
The police was defunded?
Yeah.
Oh, no. No, I don't agree with that, because they putting their life on the lines and stuff like that.
Well, anybody that cares for the citizens.
So this is going to be a stopping point for us, but it's terrible to see, what's going on in New York City for the simple fact that it's one of the beacons. It's one of the, what is that? The New York City is like the apple, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me. I hope I don't got the corona. But it's like the, Apple capital or whatever. New York Apple. I can't remember what. I used to always say it when I was younger because I wanted to go to the Big Apple. And that's what it's called. And, now to see it like this. And, it's just not DeBlasio. But obviously, Cuomo has something to do with the state of New York right now. And those two working together seem to, have some kind of plan, some kind of something going on. because as you'll see, and I believe this next clip, what the man has to say about, like the plan of it all. Because, I mean, it just doesn't even make sense. Like, this is one of the biggest tourist places probably in the world for people to come to New York, just like there's other places, but this is one of the biggest places. And I just can't believe that it's basically gotten to this point. So it's all of this is getting out of control, period. So let's watch this second clip here.
Yeah. Oh, no. No, I don't agree with that, because they putting their life on the lines and stuff like that.
Well, anybody that cares for the citizens of this city or the inner city kids or anybody else wouldn't defund the police. Only an imbecile will do that, because the safety of citizens out here, there's nothing that the mob could have did to this city that DeBlasio hasn't done on his own.
Apartment for rent used to be one of the rarest signs you would see in Manhattan. Some of the highest occupancy rates in the world here on this island, but no longer. Vacancy rates in Manhattan have more than doubled, hitting record highs. Highest price apartments have dropped in value more than 10%, while vacancies in Manhattan have skyrocketed almost 100% more than they were this time last year. This is an example of the 1/3 of small businesses that will never come back, according to statistics. It's also an example of what the American Business Exchange Council says is the worst economic outlook of any state, New York. On the street corners, all across the city, you see massive, massive piles of garbage. Why? The city has defunded their garbage waste because they do not have the means to pay for the $100 million budget that it would be to take away all of the garbage and properly fund sanitation. And so because of the domino effect of the economy collapsing and people leaving, here's what you get. Piles of garbage everywhere and the inability to pay for and pick it up. That is how people are living in New York.
There's something underlining this, what he's doing. This is done purposely. Nobody with any kind of education can do this. Can do this to a city this quickly, this fast, and with no regret. He's got no regret about what he's doing.
65% of the moves in the state of New York are outbound from the state. 95% of the moves in Manhattan are.
So, as you see, 95 of the moves in Manhattan are outbound. People are moving away from New York City, and that, to me, is unheard of. The garbage, you know what I'm saying? And just like that man had just said, there has to be some kind of plan, because there's no way that New York City has been such an staple in the United States that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, within 7-8 months that the coronavirus has been in our lives, it could shut down a city in such an enormous way this quickly. You know what I'm saying? We done been through all kinds of shit, and yet and still there could even be a transformation this devastating this quickly. It doesn't make any sense, and it seems to be a plan. Excuse me. Seriously. And they keep going with it, I mean, I wouldn't even think that a governor, a mayor would even think to shut or do the things they're doing to New York City. It's like New York, San Francisco, Chicago, some Florida is some, real Atlanta is some real major cities that you wouldn't expect things like this to go on no matter what, because they're staples. But, you know, it's really going on. And it's devastating to me. You know, I don't live there, but I feel for those people. I damn near mourn for them because this is their life. And just like the man said, like, nobody with an education, and I think he wasn't saying it to be crass, but he was saying it more so like as far as mayors and governors, and not that they have to have an education, they just have to be qualified. But he's just saying somebody with common sense, damn near, you know, in a sense. That's how I'm taking it. I don't think he's meaning to be crass, you know, but nobody with common sense really would do their city this way. And if you're going to do your city this way, you definitely have an ulterior motive. So let's move on to, I think, which is the last this.
Of the moves in Manhattan are outbound. This altogether is how you get the deserted New York street, a phenomenon unthinkable. A New York where people are fleeing, in fact, fleeing the leftist leaders who have crumbled their city's infrastructure, defunded their police, made their apartments less valuable, destroyed their businesses, and caused a health crisis for them. The future of New York looks grim. What's the future for the rest of America? Will it be socialism?
I'm Albanian, so I come from an Albanian culture where there was communism. I'd say to them they have no idea of socialism, communism, unless you're from a country my family comes from.
What are your final words about the state of New York right now?
It's very simple. I'm pro-police, I'm pro-vets, and I'm pro-America. This isn't America. I don't know what this is.
Will it all turn into New York? We'll find out, and we'll see you next week on Benny on the Block.
All right, Benny on a Block. That to me was a good piece of information. And I just, you know, it's so much information out here to give, so much going on. But I thought this was for me to come back and even talk, because it's been so draining to look and see what's been going on. But the fact that New York City is going down, you know there's a fucking problem. People are leaving and it's feeling like communism in this city. It's a big problem. People need to wake up. This type of shit is unheard of. Where your major cities, like your cities that people just, know, like they come from other countries to visit, that people from other countries and kids grow up to learn about. New York City, San Francisco, come on now. And they're going down like this? Something is wrong. Something is very wrong. And we gotta step up, people. This shouldn't be happening. Now, I love New York City. Never lived there. I visited there many years ago. It's a very expensive place to live. But those who live there know that. You know what I'm saying? And they love their city and they work hard to live in their city. And that's everywhere. It doesn't matter how much it costs or how much it doesn't. And I don't think they want it to cost that much. But they deserve a quality, an exemplary quality of life, just like we all do. And for this, it's beyond words to me. Like the garbage situation, that doesn't even make any sense. It's not making any sense. New York City, one of the most expensive places in the United States to live. New York City. And they can't even get rid of the fucking garbage. You got to be joking. So, it's like, what do you do? What do you say? How do you feel? Like, I need to know. Like, are our eyes open? Are we looking at what's really going on? Because this to me is so appalling. And this video didn't even get into COVID or anything like that. It's just talking about some other things that are going on in the city. So, thank you for watching. I think I'm gonna try to do more videos slightly like this, like, smaller in version, or on Twitter or Instagram, because there's been a lot of interesting stuff, and this is what's going on in our world today, and we need to pay attention, and I hope you are, because I hope you're unsettled, uncomfortable, and don't feel right about it, because you shouldn't. And we need to start really opening our eyes and moving into action. Please speak on it in the chat, like, share, and subscribe.